Y'all, I have got some super exciting news. First off, take a look at this. I have a brand new setup here as my new streaming setup, and we are officially on the 1.17 Caves and Cliffs update part 1. So we have tons and tons of new materials that we are going to be able to get, and actually that's what we're going to do first thing in this episode, but I'm going to need to grab some more firework rockets. And with that all done, I think it's time to go and hopefully load in some new chunks. So I haven't really been out this way that much. You can see this is old chunks that have been loaded before. So I want to go even further than that. And once we start seeing no more of these old chunks, then I think we should be good to go and start digging and finding some of those new resources, because this is a really interesting chunk area right here. It's like a floating island. But today's project, we are going to need a lot of the new blocks. I have done some designing in a personal creative world. Oh, there's a village over here. Neat. And I am super duper excited because we are going to be building our very first shop today in the shopping district. And we are going to need lots and lots of the brand new blocks in order to do so. So I'm going to fly out for a little bit longer and I'll update you once we've hopefully found something. Well, I'm caving and I did manage to find a spawner here. It looks like, well, that was weird. I wasn't expecting to see you here. Yep, it looks like it is a spider spawner. You know what would be super duper lucky? And I don't think we're going to get it, but it'd be so cool if we found... Hoping for an enchanted golden apple. Darn it. Okay. Well, I'll keep this spot in mind. Maybe we'll turn this into a farm later, but we already have so much string. I'm just now in this... I found the surface level cave, and I'm going... caving essentially mostly for copper, because we're going to need a lot of copper in this build. And I will keep you updated once I find our first little bits of copper. I will say I do love the new fortune mechanic with iron, because you can get so much more of this stuff now. Oh, and actually right behind us was our first little bit of copper ore. So this is perfect. We are going to need so much of this stuff. It's going to take us a while to get all of it. Also, continuing on the ores note, I love the accessibility of this update. And just the fact that even, I'm not colorblind, but I know people who are, and the accessibility here is absolutely wonderful. For those of you who do not know, I am physically disabled, so actually seeing these things like accessibility updates built into the base game is absolutely wonderful to see, and I'm so glad that Mojang is doing this. I'm also really hoping to find an amethyst while we're out here. Oh, there's some glow like it! We are definitely going to take you. I should be able to silk touch you. Perfect. Now we have even more of the brand new blocks. Just jumped down into a ravine and guess what I found? Even more of these brand new blocks. So we're definitely going to take some of these so that way we can eventually create a farm with them. And I forgot, they are a little bit ouchy, so these will be so good to have. I am so excited to build with these blocks, y'all. And we're just now going to pick up our first little bits of cobbled deep slate. And actually, we're going to silk touch those specific ores there, because I think once 1.18 comes out, those ores will no longer technically exist. We even managed to find some deep slate redstone ore, which we are definitely going to silk touch that. We have got so many resources now. I'm fingers crossed this should be enough copper for what we need today. If not, then I guess we'll have to do some more caving, but now I'm going to drop a lot of this in our ender chest, and we are going to go out, and we're actually going to fly over an ocean to look for some of the geodes. Aha! I found an ocean. In theory, we should be able to use this ocean, and actually maybe even this ravine, to peek and see if we can find any of the brand new geodes. Well, that's really cool. I just found a sunken ship in the middle of a cave. It like perfectly fits in with a generation 2. No luck though on finding a geode yet, which is very unfortunate. But we did find some glow squids. That's a good thing. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, but glowing stacks. Look, it's a little baby. Shh, you saw nothing. Aha! I think this definitely has to be it, because it's a smooth basalt followed by, yeah, there it is. I see it. Perfect. Followed by, what is this stuff? Calcite. Calcite is gorgeous. And actually, we are going to be using the specific noises that this block makes later in the episode, so you have that to look forward to. But here we go. We did it. We found it. I spent a little bit of time and I cleared out all of the regular amethyst blocks, and we are going to be using them in our build today because they kind of sound like wind chimes. So I'm thinking our build is going to have like wind chimes outside of it, and I'm very excited to actually incorporate some noise, give it a little bit more ambiance. But I'm going to go AFK, just like hiding below here for a couple minutes, so that way I can hopefully collect some of these wonderful little bits of amethyst, so that way we can make, of course, the tinted glass, which is also going to be a part of our build today. I don't know how I didn't notice this before, but we very much have cursed kelp right here. As you can see, there is no water around these pieces of kelp, and this one is floating. So I'm going to leave this here and see how long it lasts. Also, yeah, this piece of seagrass is in the air. Like, if we swim into it, we should be able to fill up on air in here. Yeah, see? That's so weird. Cursed things. But I've been here for quite a while. I'm hyped up on our journal right now. I just watched the new Nintendo Direct, and they announced Breath of the Wild 2. Or not announced it, they showed a trailer, and I'm panicking over it because it's my hyperfixation. And I'm so excited, so I'm going to probably stream that forever the second it starts actually coming, once it releases in 2022. So I know that's a far ways off, but plans for the future. As of right now, I have 44 amethyst shards, which is pretty decent. These things grow so incredibly slowly, but we're slowly making our way to having a full stack. And once we have a full stack, I'm going to go ahead and leave this place. I've just kind of been hiding in the floor and watching YouTube. Hello everybody, it's awriterish here, and welcome to episode 10 of Breaking Minecraft. We have officially reached double digits, which is super duper exciting. Like I said earlier in this episode, today we are going to be working on building a shop. In fact, I have gathered up almost everything that we need for this shop. We are going to, of course, be using a lot of the new 1.17 blocks. Let's go ahead and pop this down. You can see we're going to be using cut copper, and I'm actually going to let this oxidize completely. We are, of course, going to use some old blocks like the warp sand, but we are going to use cobbled deep slate, some amethyst blocks as well, in a kind of interesting way. And of course, we're going to combine the glass with the amethyst shards, make tinted glass, because our shopping district is in a mushroom biome, so we do not have to worry about mobs spawning here, at least hostile ones. So I need to just pick out a nice place for our shop. And since our shop is going to be built actually into the wall, I think this is the perfect area right here. Now for this shop, we are going to be going like a cottage core style, but darker. And I've designed this in a creative testing world, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. There are a couple blocks that we still need. I haven't been able to obtain the azalea bushes, so I don't have any azalea leaves yet. But hopefully I will find a wandering trader soon during this little excursion right here, and then we will be able to get that block from him, so we're able to actually finish up our build. So I'm going to do this progress style updates. So let's go ahead and terraform this to where we need it to be. There wasn't much work that had to be done there, but we have a small little square cut in this cliff face. And so I'm going to build up, our shop is going to essentially have 3 levels. The main entrance though is going to be on the 2nd level, which is going to be above ground. So I'm going to build up the stairwell that will reach that level. And that stairwell is actually going to just protrude a little bit from here. So that way we are able to kind of get some more depth into the build before we actually go into the mountain with it. One of the things I am working on with my builds is adding in a little bit of depth. So I've done a little thing where I rotate the stairs over here, which adds some nice depth to this. And don't worry, we are going to have a little bit of like a garden thing out front so we can fully encompass that cottagecore-esque vibe. And next up, I suppose we should build the base of the building. I'm also trying to add a little bit of depth to the base layer, which is why we have these. I'm considering maybe hanging a lantern from there just to add some additional light. But you can see it goes all the way over to here. There is going to be some removal of blocks I'm going to need to do on the inside here, because you can see this doesn't quite all the way go in here, and we definitely need that space. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the floor here, make a staircase, take this back a little bit, and start building up the actual building itself, which this is where I think it's getting exciting, because this is where we start bringing in some more of our fun blocks. Next up, we've gone ahead and added in a porch, so our people who visit this lovely shop are able to look out over this beautiful, gorgeous mushroom island. Hopefully we're going to get some more builds around here soon. Those ones up there are absolutely gorgeous. I'm hoping to get more down in this area, so this will be a nice place to look out at things. Now we're getting to the fun bit, the part where we actually start building up the main structure. I've gone ahead and laid down a floor here, and if we head into the basement, you can see it's basically just mismatched gray blocks. We are incorporating the new cobbled deep slate, and it looks excellent next to the stone bricks. It matches up very well, and it also matches with the cobblestone really, really well. These textures, I absolutely love them and how they work together. And we're going to continue to use the deep slate. Instead, this time we're not going to use cobbled deep slate. We're just going to use regular deep slate because this stuff is directional. So if we place it there, you can see it has a different texture on top than on the sides. And that becomes more obvious when we place things down like this. This is going to allow us to have a semi-directional support to our building. And I'm really, really excited to show this to y'all because I put so much time and effort into it. And I'm very excited with how it turned out. And I know I've been talking a lot about depth when building this build. So here is what the entrance and exit from the porch looks like without depth. And here's what it looks like with a little bit of depth added. So despite the fact that I've only added, around 20 blocks, it makes such a huge difference. And that's something that I want to work on more and more with my builds because I know it's something that I suffer with. I tend not to have a lot of depth in my builds, so I'm working on becoming a better builder in this way. After a little bit of time, the first floor has been finished. And what we're going to do is we're going to separate prices by floor. So the basement is going to be where the most expensive things are, and the upstairs is going to be where the least expensive things are. You can see we have these tinted glass windows, and there will be eventually something behind those, but that's not something that we're going to get into in this episode, but we will eventually get to it. And these things are more expensive than I thought they were. I will be completely honest. I've used up almost all of my amethyst crystal shards. I have 8 left, which will only give us a total of 4 pieces of glass, which is perfect because that's what we need in order to finish up this build. So I guess next up, we have to do the upstairs. Unfortunately, I have run out of both deep slate and copper, but you can kind of see the style that we are going with for the roof. So we are going to do a copper outline, and this is eventually going to oxidize. We get that nice greenish, tealish tint to it, which goes really, really well with the warped planks, warped wood, deep slate, and these stone bricks. So I'm very excited to see what this looks like when it finally oxidizes. At least, shoot, I should have checked the wiki. I hope the stairs oxidize over time. But I guess I'm going to have to go out and do a little bit more mining, and then hopefully we'll have enough to finish this thing off because we are actually getting really close to being done with it. Once we have this interior decorated a little bit more, finished up this attic, I guess is what it would be called, then we will be good to go and we can start stocking this thing. We also do need a little bit more of the tinted glass so that way we can finish up these windows up here so that way it matches the rest of the theme. But I'm not going to bore you with more of the details. I'm just going to go mine that stuff up now. Y'all, look at this. I captured an axolotl. I'm just going caving and trying to find a little bit more copper, and I caught one. It's a green one. I'm so excited. I love these, dude. Doing some caving, and I think I just found ourselves another geode. It was just barely sticking out. Yep, here it is. Let's take a peek inside. This one's, oh, hello. I wasn't expecting you to be here, but this one looks like it has some fully grown. Perfect. That's exactly what I need right now. With the extra bit of deep slate and copper that I mined, I was able to finish off the roof and the interior for the top floor. So if we go ahead and pop into our shop right here and head up here, again, we will do more behind these windows eventually. We have this nice little window out here that you can take a peek out of, and over here where you can see the rest of the lower area of the shopping district. But now I'm going to go ahead and get some shulker boxes ready to fill this up, figure out prices for what we are going to be selling. I'm also smelting up some more copper because I still don't know if the copper sears are going to oxidize. So I have these blocks out over here so that way, fingers crossed, we will be able to actually have the completely oxidized copper. Because the orange of this copper right now doesn't look the best on this building, I'll be completely honest. I don't have a major aversion to it, but I just think that the fully oxidized copper looks much better. But that's going to take some time, and I still need to check on the wiki if this will turn to oxidized copper over time. But yeah, what we're going to do is we will eventually also put down slabs along here and copper slabs along here as well, just to kind of add in a little bit more texture and depth and color to this build. But let's go ahead and head back to the base. I'm going to actually empty out my inventory a little bit first, and we will be good to basically start filling up the shop. This shop is officially stocked, and I am so excited. And what we have upstairs is we have a bunch of stone things selling for 1 diamond block per shulker. That's why it's called by the box, is because we're doing everything by shulkers. We have we have bones here, we have string, we have arrows, we have spider eyes, and then if we go down to the basement, this is where things start getting expensive. For 4 diamond blocks, you're able to get all of this, which includes nether wart and nether quartz. For 40 diamond blocks, and I know that seems like a lot, but trust me, the entire shulker of iron blocks, which is super duper useful. And actually you get a relative discount over the 5 diamond blocks for full shulker of just iron ingots. Technically that's a 5 diamond block discount, excluding the cost of the shulker. You gotta keep in mind that you get to keep the shulker when you buy these boxes. For 4 diamond blocks, you're able to get a box of gold nuggets. For 5 diamond blocks, you're able to get a full box of packed ice. And for 4 diamond blocks, you're able to get lots of nether wart, some warped wart, and some netherrack. For 5 diamond blocks, you're able to get a full shulker box of wheat. And I have done just a little bit of calculations right here. If we were to sell every single box in this shop, it would be 99 diamond blocks, which translates to 891 diamonds, or almost 14 stacks of diamonds, which is absolutely crazy. I'm not expecting to sell out of these at all, but it's so much fun. Now we actually get to do something that I've really been looking forward to. And we're gonna just dig down a little bit right here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 4 amethyst blocks, place them right there. And we're gonna get some eggs. And we're gonna take these eggs and hopefully we'll get a little baby chicken from one of them. Hopefully, I say. And I got through 16 eggs. Okay. So what's gonna happen is, oh, does that not work? I thought as a baby chicken walked around, it would make noise. So down here, we replaced the chicken thing with this little setup here, which is going to throw snowballs up at these amethyst blocks. And when the amethyst blocks are hit by the snowballs, they do in fact make the noise, and I did check. But we are still going to use chickens for this because chickens are excellent randomizers. So, oh, that was extraordinarily lucky. So this dude right here will be named Martha if we're able to get to her. There you go. And Martha, whenever she steps on that pressure plate right there, will send a pulse through here, which will fire this, I believe, 6 times, creating a little bit of a wind chime sensation to it. Let's see. Come on, Martha. There it is. I know it's very quiet, but I promise it's there. Here, let me actually turn up my volume so you can hear it better. Alright, hopefully that time you're able to hear it, but that's kind of what it sounds like. And it's just hooked up to a chicken randomizer, so that will occasionally go off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up all... Oh! The chicken decided to hit me with the snowballs. I'm going to fill these up with snowballs just so that way it will take a hot minute for us to run out. And I actually think I might make the enclosure that Martha has here a little bit bigger. So that way there is less of a random chance that she will wander onto the pressure plate. Basically, we want to decrease that a little bit because it's still going off quite often. And just the more room she has, the less likely she is to randomly pathfind to this one specific block. That little spot has been covered up right here, and our chicken is going to work, making us get random wind chimes every once in a while. And you should be able to hear it all around here, especially when you're down in the basement, which is really super duper nice because it's just right on the other side of this wall. However, before we go back to my base, I would prefer to get this all oxidized. So I've kind of turned the shopping district into a giant grid of copper blocks just to try and oxidize these things as fast as possible. So these things will check for copper blocks within 4 blocks of each other. And if there's a copper block in a less oxidized state, then that block is less likely to oxidize when it's randomly selected. So that's why they're laid out in this weird grid. And I have, in fact, found out that copper stairs will also oxidize over time, which is perfect, which is exactly what I need. So I guess it's time for me to kind of take down this roof and start replacing copper blocks all over here. so that way we can actually get the weathered copper that I want. And it actually looks like some of our copper stairs had already started to oxidize, which is perfect because then this process, yes, it does take a really long time. I've been watching YouTube while I wait for this to happen for around 45 minutes now. It should hopefully take less time now that we actually do have some of these oxidized copper. So if you ever want to oxidize your copper, do it in this grid-like formation. That way it oxidizes the fastest it can. And this is exactly the block that we are looking for, the oxidized copper. And I've seen a couple more of these appearing around the place, so I'm going to set these up to oxidize, like I believe this is another one right here. So we are definitely getting these ready to go. It is, in fact, an extraordinarily slow process, but it does work. So soon we'll actually have the roof in its full glory and what it's supposed to look like, and I'm very excited for that. Just a little bit of a preview because this is all I have. This is what the fully oxidized copper stairs look like with the build. It definitely fits in much better than this very orange vibrant color. If you ignore that one copper block that is going to oxidize eventually, this build is completely finished. I'm so excited. I will do landscaping eventually. I just need to take all this down, and then we're going to head back to our base because there's one more fun thing that I really want to do. Now that we are back at the base, we can start doing exactly what I was planning on doing. And yes, we are going to have RTX on for this part. As you may know, June is in fact Pride Month. I am very much a lesbian, so I'm going to put up some pride flags, probably surrounding our mob farm right there, just so they're kind of in the middle. I'm going to do all the letters in LGBTQIA. If you have an identity that you would like me to add there, go ahead and just drop in the comment section. I'd be incredibly happy to add any pride flags that you would like me to. Let's go ahead and pop those up there now. And just like that, we've added in a total of 8 different pride flags. We, of course, have the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, asexual, and then for fun, I also added in the non-binary flag and the pansexual flag. So if you do have any flags that you would like me to hang up here, just go ahead, drop that down in the comments section. I would be happy to add more flags to our wonderful building here. But that is the end of today's episode. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you on the next video. And happy Pride Month to all of you. Goodbye!